We will start with as usual, you start with port scanning. So let's scan this machine. Let me just also put this aside. So that's, as I explained, this is my kind of go-to Nmap all the time. That's why it takes sometimes. But considering this is a Windows machine, then definitely it will take slightly longer time, depending on how many open ports there. And I know that this is a Windows and Active Directory. So again, keep this in mind. It might take slightly longer time than anticipated. Wow, we're still on 9%. Are you making notes for the tools or the commands I'm running sometimes?
Yeah.
Good,
Yeah.
especially today, we're going to use some tools to make note of them. But most of these tools, in fact, all of them are built in Kali, or you can install into Kali. So remember, did we cover the potatoes before?
Yeah, we did cover WinPs and potato.
Good, good. So potatoes covered. So you understand the concepts of these potatoes. Cool. Because today I don't think we're going to use any potatoes, but we are going to use privilege escalation, which is quite interesting in Heist here. Okay, it's moving. Come on.
Dr. Mahdi, should we always use this nmap command, for example,
It
in the
is to
competition
me.
as well?
Okay, so let's go through it. I need to scan all the ports,
Yeah,
so that's why I put dash b dash. I run the default scripts. So, for example, if there is an FTP and that FTP allow anonymous access, this one will straight away flag it to me. If there is any robots.txt, for example, this one straight away will flag it to me. So I will get more kind of detailed output um, if I run this. And again, with the aggressive scan, pretty much it runs a number of additional vulnerability assessments. So for example, with SMP, it would go like you see these kind of stuff. It will go in more details and enumerate SMB for me. Otherwise, I will run another script with another nmap to get this information.
yeah,
So,
cool.
and this is only I use it in not in a testing environment. I use it in CTF environment because this is very loud kind of scan, and I will never use it in pen testing engagement.
Yeah, cool.
Loud as in does it leave in lots of fingerprints?
It leaves
Um,
fingerprints. It's like as if you are shouting inside your network.
so any sock can basically
Spot on.
easily flag it, right?
Spot on. And also,
Yeah.
if you are running, so definitely not red teaming exercise. Okay,
Mm.
probably pen testing will be more relaxed, but red teamers then that will defeat the whole purpose of red teaming. Another thing is sometimes if you are dealing with a legacy infrastructure or a legacy software, aggressive scan might have some side effect on that legacy software, slow it down, or sometimes break it. So you don't want to take the risk. But here
Yeah,
I
makes sense.
but here I know it's CTF and we need to get the results in one go rather than run multiple scripts. So again, based on my experience, this gave me the most comprehensive results. So I don't need to run any another nmap unless there is something very specific I need to look for. So we have the DNS, we have Kerberos. That's interesting. We have SMBs, we have LDAP. So that means, and that's the domain name. Cool. And I have something key password here, another something called, this looks like RPC over HTTP as it says here, TCP wrapped 326 Microsoft Active Directory LDAP, again, secure version of LDAP, some SSL, and that's web services apparently running here, another web service running here, another web service run here. So, and look, many other. So from pen testing point of view, usually these ports, if they are useless, then they should be either the service should be disabled or that these ports should be blocked over the firewall. So let's make note of this. So that's the domain name plus the machine name. We already have this. So again, documentation is key here. Okay. So we can go systematically. We can usually, personally, I will go if I have SMB, I will quickly fire enum for Linux, try to see if I can get anything from the SMP. What was the IP address? 186.165. So 186.165. Also, at the same time, try to run SMB client to see if you can get anything as well. 186, 165. Hit enter. Okay, access is denied, so didn't get anything from there. Okay, so this is running. Let's leave it run. I will open another terminal now, and we already established that LDAP is running. So I will try to perform some LDAP enumeration. That doesn't always work depending on the setup, but it's always good to start with LDAP enumeration to see, try to understand or try to see what you can find about the system in general. Okay, let me just get my cheat sheet. So the command ldap enumeration. So okay, first of all, I will copy and paste the command so you can make note of it. So the first command here is an nmap script. Try to run all the scripts that has LDAP inside it, and just let's change the IP address here. So dash dash script LDAP with anything, that's the asterisk here, and no brute, so I don't want to brute force. See what you will get from there. So okay, DC Heist, DC offsec. That's again, that might be useful for if we need to do any Active Directory information. That's just the general or the generic Active Directory structure for this domain. Nothing important here. I cannot see passwords. I cannot see usernames. I cannot see anything. Okay, fair enough. Now the next thing you do is check if there's something called LDAP access is enabled. So the command for using an LDAP search. So again, I built these kind of cheat sheet based on my own experience and the stuff that I used to do. So that's why I copied this, copy, replace here. And again, just take this. So the command is LDAP search. And see if we get us any new things. So at this stage, we just try to collect as much information about the LDAP as possible. So again, I couldn't find anything, probably connection to LDAP. So this one will give you access, will give you a lot of information if anonymous access to LDAP is enabled. So that means anonymous access is not enabled at all. Okay, so at this stage, that's how much information we managed to get from LDAP here, which is fine. So that means, so let me take you through how I see this kind of stuff. So in order for us guys to access to compromise LDAP, we need to have credentials. We need to have at least a user name and password, one of them. So I try to see if there's anything from LDAP, a misconfiguration in LDAP that will give me this information. Couldn't find anything. Checked with enough for Linux to see if there's anything on SMB that will give me that information. And as you can see, the output here is not really encouraging. We tried with the SMP client. Again, it gave us an error message say that access is denied. If you are at this stage, then logically you should try to enumerate then the web services, because we enumerated the LDAP and SMB and we didn't get anything. So there's no port 80. We know that seems here I have some ports, so I would just go ahead derp http 192 168 186 165 and 3389. Okay, I couldn't access it. Fair enough. Probably it's not a website. Let's see if I opened it here. Connection was reset. Okay, fair enough. Let's try the other ports then. 5985. Well, I'm not really, that's universal plug and play, so most likely it's not a web server. That sounds like a web server, 8080. Okay. So this is a web server. And it says enter URL. So what will happen if I put the HTTP 127 HTTP? Yeah, let's try this. Well, okay, fair enough. So let's then start a web server here. Python. So I started a web server, and let's try to connect to that web server. HTTP 192.168.45. This is my IP address. .248 direct listing. So basically, you can see that there was a connection. Good. So let's just confirm it. So if I echo hello test, and if I put test, you can access it. So good. So that means now I can access this website. Now, what do you think? Is there any attack vector for us here?
Yes. So if yeah, of course, it's it's an open redirection.
Okay. So what would you like to do to get access to that target machine?
So for now, we only know that so if you click on can you go back to the web page? Right. So if you just browse that, it goes to the backend server. The server then again sends a request to the URL
Mm-hmm.
and then gives you the content, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
can first things first try to steal information from within. So maybe try an LFI, and if that works, we can basically
So,
do an RCE.
so from here we know that's um, the RFI work, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So, and the method here, the parameter is URL.
yeah.
So judging from the URL, I don't think LFI will be possible. Well, you see my point? It's URL.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I get
they,
it. I get it. But what if they just if they use some sensitive uh you know schemes first things first in the background because you provide the protocol here. So if you instead of HTTP or HTTPS, if you provide file and then try to get some files from there, so
so
that might work.
how do you want to proceed with this?
Because we know it's a Windows device, right? What I would try is something like this. I'm not sure if the Windows directory scheme is proper for the payload I'm writing, but
Okay.
it should be something like this, maybe, if it fetches you the file.
Okay, so basically you put, okay, but so do you want me, okay, fair enough. No, that's fine. We can have, so you want to, but do you want to change the file? Do you want to change the parameter name into file?
No, URL is fine,
Okay, but
but
you just
instead
want
of
to put the
the
system path. Okay,
yes, yeah.
so which in this case was, uh, let me just go back up. I need the chat here as well. Um, can you put the path again? I lost it in the chat.
Sure, yeah. Just put it now. I think we will still need to specify the file protocol here because otherwise, so what happens with, let's say if I just, for example, if I'm making the backend server and I don't know how to code security, right? What a programmer would do is use, let's say, Python's request library, say whatever the user gives me, send a
Mm,
request to that thing. So it would be usually request.get, and then request.get normally takes in the protocol and then the file, and then the path from the user.
Why,
So
why,
it's
why, why we speculate it? Why don't we just run burp suite and see what we will get? That
yeah,
will answer
yeah,
all your question, right?
yeah.
Good. We'll leave it initially. So to capture the initial request, let's just leave it as it is with this. Uh, start the proxy. Now let's go here. Good. So that's what we have. Let me send it to intruder.
Just send it to repeater. That would be
I have something in mind. I would send it to
okay.
repeater as well. I
Yeah,
would, let's send it to both. I will tell you what I have in mind.
yeah,
So let's go to repeater so you will be able to see the response. That's what you have in mind, right? That's what you want
yeah.
repeater.
Is the intruder thing maybe
The
trying
intruder
to fuzz
is
out the admin or something?
I would like to
For,
fuzz
yeah,
this instead of C, I have list of all Windows files and we see which one of them work, for example.
yeah, yeah.
But let's go for repeater. Let's see what kind of, so we know it's get method, good.
Mm-hmm.
And let's send and see what will happen. Okay, fair enough. So it is a get method.
Python again. It is Python, right? So that would be my first. My first thing would be to. So my first, yeah, thought would be that they are using request.get in the backend to send another request from the backend server to the destination URL to fetch you the resource. And re.get basically is not so secure if you don't specify your protocols and stuff.
Wait a minute. That information here.
Yeah,
That's is that what you're
that is
referring to? But
yes, the
That's
server header. That's Python Flask.
yes, but
that's the server we are running. So that
absolutely. So that's what we're running on Kali, isn't it?
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry.
Yes. So that's what we're running. That's why it's Python. But we can if you want to know what is the back end, we can try to fuzz it with what web. So if I
Maybe
go
just
ahead, what web, what
right.
was the IP address? Uh, 186.165, 186.165 on port 8080.
while that is happening, could we see if we can upload an executable file?
That's what, to be honest, will come to my mind. Since I managed to open the test file, what will happen if I put a reverse shell or an executable file, as Nefes said, and try to access
Mm.
it and see if that will do anything?
So, but the thing is, if you put in your executable file, you will still need an LFI or some kind of, way to open the file.
No, actually, it is Python as well here. That's interesting.
Right.
Okay, repeat that again.
So if you put in your executable file, you will still need to send a command to open the file, maybe by an
No,
LFI or an OS
if
command injection.
if I hosted the file on my server, let's say a reverse shell,
Yeah, it's possible then. Yeah. It just
absolutely,
sends
and
you the
then
ping back.
absolutely. So if I have my file hosted, then I can try to upload it. Now I'm curious that well, shall I upload a PHP file in this case? What kind of script would do here? Or Python
No, it's using Python, right? So I would say
or jQuery? I don't know.
just a Python
Reverse
reverse
shell?
shell. Yeah, that
Okay,
works.
good. So let's do it then. In order to do this, let's just disable this. Don't need it anymore.
Or one more thing that would come to
Yeah.
my mind, because we know the tech stack, we can just try simple Python injection commands or inputting Python scripts there
When by
and
there you mean where?
in the URL,
Good. So
you know,
here,
yeah, yeah,
that's what we're going to do. We will put a Python code,
right.
and we will call it from the server and see will it be rendered or it will
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Good.
Since it's returning the HTML as well, I wonder if we can just do JavaScript, like a script that goes and um, I forget what the XSS stuff. Um, just with a JavaScript script tag and see if we can get access to the underlying um, like
You
information.
mean from Burp Suite?
No,
Where you want to inject the XSS?
so I don't know if this is the right tag, if the name for it, but just JavaScript. We include a file uh, since the test is returning, it's loading the file anyways. Maybe a JavaScript, a HTML file that has a JavaScript script in it.
But then that would still trigger on your own window. So you would be the victim of your own file then, wouldn't it?
Uh, but we could,
So I get it. You're trying to say if we can use include and then include system files in it and then run the content out of it.
yeah,
But
I
then
was just thinking.
much easier would be still Python because their backend is in Python. Because JavaScript would still what it would do. So I think the direction you're thinking was a PHP shell, because if you do it with PHP, that includes the PHP include wrapper had that vulnerability where you could include external files if a user submits that payload, and then it would include from the server. But with JavaScript, it wouldn't work unless they're running React Native or Node in the background.
Hmm. I will,
Good.
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead,
I'll
Nafis. Go
keep
ahead.
thinking.
Good. So let just I think go with our plan. Try to put
Yeah.
a script on the server and try to access it, and hopefully that will return something for us. Good. So we disable this. So what I would do is ref shell. Ref shell. I shared this website with you before, haven't I?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. Yeah.
So ref shell is where I go to when I need to come on ref shell when I need to get a shell. So let's just put our IP address 192.168.45.248. Yeah, I'm happy with 444. We said that we would like to have reverse shell. We need Python, right?
It's after all the PowerShell ones. There's a
Couldn't
bunch of
see it. PowerShell. Yes, Python. Cool. So I will go here, copy it, and I will go here. I will say rev.py, paste, exit. Let's go back. Okay, let's set the listener and cat dash mpp, right?
But we also need to edit the Revit.py, right? With our IP and port
No,
details.
the beauty about it, because I already submitted here, it will
Oh,
be.
sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I missed it. Right.
Yeah, no worries, that's fine. So that's why I like this one, because it helps me a lot. Cool. So this is done. Let's. So how many windows are there? You just go there here. Is that one window or two? Let's put. Okay. So let's just get the Python server running. Is there a Python server running somewhere else? Oh, it is running already. Okay, good. So let's go back here, backward, rev.py. Oh, okay. So it's printed it out as a text. Okay, so that's
Um,
possible. that's yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So one more thing we can try is something called Python template injection, or not Python template, but just template injection. That is because they are using Python and the server is. I'm not sure about the server, but if it's Django or Flask, which is you know a higher possibility, what happens is with your template injection payloads,
Hmm.
you can inject OS commands, and that is a direct RCE.
Good,
So,
but if
s-
they yeah, but if they're not so that template will that be an like a
so the
Python
thing
in
is,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So the thing is, I mistyped the other one. But if you type something like this is a special, or this is a Jinja syntax basically,
Mm,
which Django and Flask uses. And when you type this, and when the server gets this, it passes this as a command or like some form of data. So this is encapsulated, and the server tries to parse it basically. And when it tries to parse it, when it reaches, when it understands that this is a block of code, a
mhm.
Python code, it basically runs that code in its native environment and gives back the results for that. So that is one way of doing command injection or RCE if it's a
Mhm.
Python backend. This is also, I think, possible in a few frameworks of JavaScript, but I'm not sure which
And
ones. But I've tried this.
how would you deliver this payload in this case?
Just input it. That's it.
Input it in the website itself,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because
like
we don't
l-
know yet
like
that
here.
what's this. No, just copy paste it as in whole. You don't even need the HTTP unless there's a
Okay.
filter.
So you try to inject this within the okay. So you try to put something like this, right?
Yeah, and then
OS
say
dot
os.system and
system,
then whatever command.
and because we are dealing with Windows, let's put dir and something like this.
Yeah,
And where will be the output? Let's see what
that's
we'll
true.
get. And
Connect. That's one error. Can you see burp speed if it
we can
logs something? Maybe in
well,
the
we need to
string trigger.
enable it again. That's fine. That's fine. So let's start Burp Suite again.
We can make complex scripts out of it if there is template injection that we know of. But this was basically one of the challenges in my CTF that I made for this station. Yeah,
Your project.
yeah,
Do you still have these machines?
yeah. I do. Yeah, I was just looking at my older laptop and I
I
found all the VMs there.
I need to meet with you. I need to have them, man. That would be really good
Yeah.
to have them. Probably ask students to be able to. I don't think any of our students will be able to crack it, but yeah.
Yeah, if you want, if I can locally host them because I've got like enough machines to host them, and they have microservices in that. Like a couple of challenges had microservices, and then you had to hack one and then get to the other. That would give you the port number. So it was I think a bit difficult,
It was
but
difficult.
it was solvable if you knew what you were doing and if you read Burp Suite. If you had Burp Suite open, yeah, I think it is doable. But it would be
Okay.
fun, yeah, for your students.
So do you want me to send it to repeater?
Yeah. It just says page is not here.
Yeah, 200 page not here. That's interesting.
So it tried to parse it. There wasn't an internal server error or anything.
Cannot display the package your computer isn't. So that's pretty much the same
Yeah.
thing that we had. That's pretty much the same thing that we had. Okay, so what do you want me to do now?
Um, I'm just looking for a couple of payloads, but I'd say in the meantime, let's continue our flow.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Good. So, but I think I like the idea that you thought directly of let's upload something on the server and see if we can run it from the target machine. That makes sense, and basically that would be my first thing I would do. Usually that work, but in this machine, as I said, it's not an easy one, so it does not work.
Right.
Now, Just recalling what we tried. We tried a web server, and that here, oh, not here, 248. And we managed to get this one. This is a classic case of an attack known as SSRF, server-side request forgery. It's one of the OAuth top 10,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah.
where basically the APIs will enable, so you will have an isolated environment and only trusted services will be able to communicate with each other. So what you could do, you could use that web applications to send requests to any domain. So what we can do here, assuming that this is the case, what I would do, have you come across a tool called Responder before?
Not really. No.
Okay, so I will introduce you to a tool called Responder. Yep, let's do it this way. So Responder, when I hit enter now, it will set up multiple things. It will set up poisoners for LLMNR, that's for kind of an authentication, MPTNS, DHCP, DNS, and as you can see, a web server. And what it does, any interaction now with my server, it will capture any attempts for authentication. And it will show me all whatever has been exchanged as part of that authentication. So let me show you what I mean. So this is at my website. If I said go, you see what happened? They showed me that there was a user called Enox tried to access, and basically that is the NTLM hash. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The responder usually is the first thing we do in pen testing. So day number 1 in the morning, start responders, leave it running for a couple of hours up to roughly the lunchtime, then go back and see what can responder or what has responder captured for me. If managed to capture this, sometimes they manage to capture hashes, sometimes they manage to capture tickets. So it's really, really powerful and useful tool. So let's make note of this. So we know that now the name of the user is Enox. At least we have a name. And we have the NTLM version 2 hash. Okay, so why don't we try to crack it? So let's create a file called hash. Let's put this inside. Let's just see if everything's okay. Good. Now, hashcat. It's NTLM version 2, right? So that should be the query for it. You can see the output here. That is the password, California. Make sense?
Makes sense. Yeah.
Now,
That was using Hashcat.
can you repeat that again, Nefis?
Was that using Hashcat?
Absolutely. That's the command I typed.
So
Because,
5600 is, you said it was the encryption type?
yeah, let me show it to you. Hash. So we know it's NTLM version 2, right?
Yeah.
Good. So when I grep for NTLM version 2, it shows me that 5600 is the module number that I need to use. And I used it, followed by the name of the file that has the hashes. That's the RockU password. And it went ahead and cracked it and shows you the password at the end. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Is the file list necessary? Does it have any defaults or
What do you mean?
to
You mean
provide it the raw queue?
I had RockU because I downloaded it, but you can use any. But well, RockU, as you can see, it's one of the largest at the moment, so that's
Yeah,
why
I
I
think
use
it's the most
RockU.
comprehensive, right? Because
Yeah,
otherwise,
you can download stick list as well. Again, not a bad one, but I use
yeah.
RockU a lot.
Got it.
Good. So let me Let me cancel this. So we know now that's what was the password. It was California, wasn't it? Yep. Good.
You're trying to SSH in?
Well, there was no SSH.
Well, there wasn't. Okay.
So Enox and the password is California. So if you go back, there was no SSH. And rarely in Windows boxes you will see SSH. Very rarely. Good. So now we have a password and username. How can we access it? Now, we know SMB is running. So what I'm going to use, I'm going to see if these credentials will enable me to access. So I'm going to use, did you come across a tool called crack map exec?
Nope.
Okay, so I'm going to use crack map exec. Crack map exec with the username. Let me get the syntax in front of me, my cheat sheet, and I will share it with you in a minute. Crack map, crack map, crack map, crack map. I think it's dash h dash I dash u dash p, but I just want to make sure that's the miscellaneous. That's a responder. It's interesting. Yeah, crack map. So that will be the syntax. I need to find a way. So SMB, let's change the IP addresses. 186.165 dash u, the username, which is Enox in our case, dash p, which is the password, California. I think there's a typo. So let's copy it. Cool. And I will check if I can get access with SMB, and then I will check for remote access. Okay, so everything is positive. That's good. And also let's try to check for when RM, Windows Remote Access or Remote Management. You can see if you had pawned, that means you can use these logins to access. That means that username Enox is a member of remote access or remote management group on that machine. So the tool I'm going to use is called Evil When RM. Now, knowing that I can access with this one, so 186.165. The user is Enox, and the password is California. And I have a shell now inside. It's a PowerShell shell. Yeah, it's a PowerShell shell inside that Windows machine. Does that make sense?
Yeah, does. Yeah.
Good. Make note of these tools. I don't know if we used them before. Good. So let's see what we have here. So we are inside the documents ns-all, well, all ls. There's nothing interesting apparently here. ls. We have.
So we can use Linux commands, is it?
Yeah, because it's PowerShell.
Oh yes, yeah, right.
It's PowerShell. You see. cd dot. Okay, let's see how many users. Interesting. So we have our user. We have obviously the administrator, and we have this user here, which is interesting. So when you have something like SVC, that means it's a service user for Apache for whatever service. The first thing comes to my mind when I see something like this is basically things like silver tickets or any types of the tickets. So usually in Windows environment, if you have like, let's say MS SQL, you will have a service user account called SVC underscore MS SQL. If you have, let's say IIS, you will have SVC underscore IIS. It happens that here our service account is SVC Apache. Okay. So you could try WinP and see if with WinPs we can get any results. I tried. To be honest, it was not very, very useful. I tried the silver ticket attack. It was not successful as well. So I'm just saving you all the headache here. I checked also the system files. So also we need to enumerate the operating system and we need to enumerate the privileges. This is important. So who am I? Priv. That's very important. And as you can see, the privileges here are not very good. So I don't have the SE impersonate. Remember the SE impersonate we had in one of the boxes? I told you this is really useful if we have it. We can think of the potatoes. We can think of the print spool attack. I don't know if you recall it, but it is recorded in the video, so you could come back to it. So here, for this user, let's just make sure that we don't mix things. So that's for Enox. These are the permissions that we have. And again, I cannot see anything of interest here. So what you could do is, again, let me see what was the command in PowerShell that enables me to enumerate the operating system. I don't think Windows enumeration group user list of search for file with PowerShell. So you can try. Have you used PowerView before? Did we use PowerView before?
No.
Okay, let's try to use PowerView. So let me host it. Copy root tool Windows PowerShell. Yeah, I can see PowerView here. Okay, did we stop responder? I think we stopped responder. Okay, so let's start our webs. Let me do it here. Control R, and let's start the web server there. Python, and let's go here. Check what files we have. Good. So the beauty about the shell that you have with Evil Win RM is that I can upload things using upload. I think I can put something like this, power or pwd. Then I think something like this. You see? So that's really useful. So now I can see that I have, oh, where did it? Okay, let me just make sure that I am inside a place where I can upload. NX, CD, desktop. If I do something like that, will that do? Yep. You can see I have overview now. Okay, so what I would do is I'll try to invoke it, import module then power view. Good. So now that was imported, we can now use get, for example, get net users, and that will show me the information about the user's account that we have. Um,
So the import view, import module thing, it's working through evil RM.
yes.
And
So
that's
now I have a PowerShell. With the PowerShell, I need to import. I need to tell them I want you to use Power View. So I imported Power View module.
so is that a feature of PowerShell or of evil RM? The
No,
power.
it's a feature of PowerShell.
Okay.
It's a feature of PowerShell. So we can try to say get computer, get net computer, I think. Get net. No, there is no dash. No worries. It will give me error message. Good. So that's get net computer. I'm interested in the operating system details. Yeah. So we know now it is Windows 20 Server 2019. Any other information of interest? It would be good also to know if it's 32-bit or 64-bit. Okay, if not, then I don't know if WMake will enable me to know this information. Let me see. I might not have permission to do that, but we can try it. WMake always get OS architecture. Yes, it's not native. What was it? Dash CMD? Something like that? I think you can do something like this.
That would just invoke your command prompt, wouldn't
Yes,
it? Like,
yeah, I think
and that
that's.
was from Windows Explorer, as far as I know.
I think there was something like this. C equal. I don't remember the syntax. Probably I need to check it. But it was something like that. The dash CMD. I don't know. Anyway, so we know that it's Windows 2018. That's good enough. We know it's a domain controller. We already established this. We know that we have two users account, and that's important for us. So what I would do now is, in order to have kind of a more GUI representation of the domain, I'm going to run Bloodhound. In order to run Bloodhound, what I need is I need to get the database from the domain controller that represent the domain. Then I will need to load it into a dashboard or ingest these database into a dashboard. Then I will be able to interact with it. So the steps is, let me show you the code. Okay, so this is the part where I will run Bloodhound. So just let's change this into our IP address. And also the username into the one that we have, Enox and California. Good. So basically what I said, get me everything, group, session, RDP, remote RN, pretty much everything, and the domain name. So this is, I played this box where I use this shell. The domain name is this. You see why I keep a lot of notes? Because
Yeah.
eventually I will reach a stage, I just copy and paste and create everything, then just run it in one go. Okay, now if I run this, eventually I should have a zip file in a minute inside this directory. Good. So inside here now, look, I have this bloodhound zip, and this is the file that has all the data I need to look for. Now I will start the terminal or the service that will enable me to upload and analyze the data. Neo4j start, Neo4j start. Now it is started. You can see it started at this place. And now the only thing I need to do is just run Bloodhound. Okay. Let me clear the databases. Apparently I was playing another one called resource. Good. So I go here now and upload the database that we downloaded or we created earlier. Cyber team. We're playing Heist. So this is the one, right? Good. So now that was uploaded. So here we can search for the stuff that we have. So we know that we have a user called Enox. That's the user. We already have the credential for it. So what I will do, I will mark it as owned. You can see that's good. You can get the node information. You can perform. So if I clicked on this, yes, the node information. So that will give you information about the device itself, the domain it is part of, if password is noted or anything is needed, membership, group membership, for example. So basically it's a member of web admin, a member of remote management. You remember I told you that's why we managed to use when Evil when RM, because it is member, it has to be a member of remote management. Do you remember that when I just told you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I will not be able to use Evil when RM. Oh, it is also members of users. So it's not a member of admin or administrator. Good. So the analysis part is useful. Usually we go for one side called short path. So what we say, find, for example, short path to domain admin, find shortest path from domain user to high level target, to high value target, to domain admin from own principle. So that might be useful. Let's try, see if there's anything. This is which domain you want. This is the domain. And that will show you the transaction. So we are already here. We own this one. Then desync into this, and from there, user access contained in the domain admin. That sounds a bit long route, to be honest. from here to here. So we already have this box. So we can also mark this as owned. And okay, so that was not really useful for me because I cannot see a direct attack vector here. Nothing. So domain control synchronization, you could, the beauty about it, you can go here, right click on it, say help, and they will show you how you could abuse it. You can also perform the more complicated this one, but most of the time that doesn't work with me, the DC sync. Let's see shortest path from domain. Oh, that's even more complicated. But you see why system admin love this tool, because it shows them, it discovered the whole domain for them.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is this. Okay. We also had another user. You remember we said SV, yeah, this one. Let's have a look at this one. See what kind of group it's member of. Interesting. Okay, two groups, remote management admin. And aha, so basically this one is a member of the computers. That one is not. This one also remote management admin. So from this user, if we say it to domain admin, what will happen? Okay, so we have something called read GMSA password. That is really, really interesting one. So again, try to look this up. Read GMS. Let me. Can I copy it, by the way? Let me try read GMSA password. It is really interesting attack vector. So read GMSA password. So this allow you to read the password for a group managed service account, which is in our case the SVG, the SVC GSM, sorry, the Apache group managed service as a special type of Active Directory objects where the password for the object is managed by the automatically one. Okay, so we know what does this permission allow us to do. So that means if we can exploit this, we might be able to get the password of the other user account. Okay, the question is, how can we do this? And I think from memory that there was password, let's say privilege escalation, priv. Okay, hacker piece, sometimes they have, and there's one here as well I looked at before. Da, 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 da. Also, let me go here and see what does this one say as well. So I am on Windows. Aha, you see it gives me the steps. Build GMSA password reader.exe. So probably our good start with looking at this up. Drop it to the disk of Windows. I can do this. use this to retrieve the empty hash of the GSMA. So it seems that the attack vector is very simple here. You see, it even gives me the steps. So I need to run it, dash account name. So let's copy this and put it here. Good, so we know this. So what we need is to get the GSMA password reader.exe. From memory, I remember I downloaded it into my toolkit. So let me see if I can have it from here. Copy, root tool, Windows, G, yeah, here it is. So we hosted it now on that folder. I will go back to here so we can, so that's Bloodhound. So if I did this, so we see it here. So what I will do is pwd, I'll just upload. Let's upload it. Good, we have it here, right? So that's the first thing that we need to do. So what else did they say we need to do? Now, once you upload it, use the command blah, 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 blah to do the account name. So basically, we just need to run this command and hopefully we would be able to get the hash of that particular user account. Now, we already have this command, so let me just go ahead here. The user account we are interested in is this one. So instead of that, I will just put this. And if everything is correct, we should be good to go. Good. You can see now I have this, which is the current value, and the RC4 for HMAC. Use this one. So let me just copy this. So basically, that's what we have. Let's put this person here. And this is the hash. Good. So we compromised the second account, haven't we?
Yep.
Does that make sense? The steps that we're following?
Yeah, it does.
So basically, I'm just following what Bloodhound told me to do. Now we have the hash. What do you think we should do? How can we proceed?
Same hashcat,
You can crack it, but guess
but it's a different module. Or
we could.
but if you don't have the password in the word list, or if it's complicated, then it's going to be a trouble.
But guess what I would do? Have you come across an attack called pass the hash?
Pass the hash.
Yep.
Oh.
Good. Look at this.
Yeah.
So we're going to use crack map, the same command that we used before. And it was dash I, it's this one. Where is it? This one, okay? So let's copy this. But this time, or evil when Aram, look, evil when Aram, good, let's use the evil. But instead of the password, I will put the hash. So let's correct everything else here. So the IP address is 192.168.186.165.186.165. And the user is SVC Apache this, right? And the password hash is, I just pasted it, so it should be, oh no. The password hash is what we just got. And because if you remember, we already know that this user, we already established that the SV host user was a member of two groups. One of them was remote access, right? Or remote management.
Yes.
So basically, in theory, I should be able to access now PowerShell as SV You can see now I'm accessing as SV Apache. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Good. Now let's go through the routine. Who?
And can we always use this methodology past the hash, or does the server is vulnerable for something that we used?
No, if you have the hash, you can access. That's absolutely fine.
Okay.
It's based on the fact that SMB authenticates you based on your hash. So pass the hash always work. Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Who am I slash priv? Okay, so I have these now. Copy. So these are the permission. So this is what I had for Inox. So set machine, set change, set increase, set increase. So this is the one that is different. SE restore privilege. That sounds very interesting. So let's just do a bit of Googling, see if we can get anything related to this one. There is right up here on this one. And there is a write up here on how you can also exploit it. And there is a privilege GitHub page. Okay, let's see here. What are they talking about? Okay, so here they said launch PowerShell with the blah blah privilege present. That's what we have. Enable the privilege with enable SE privilege. We already have it. Rename utilman.exe to utilman.old. Rename cmd.exe to utilman.exe. Lock the console and press window. Okay. Don't I need to reboot the system in this case? I think I need to reboot the system in this case. So this is one attack vector. So launch PowerShell. Let's try to do so. Basically, 1 and 2 we already did. Rename utilman exe to utilman old. Rename cmd exe to ultiman.exe. Lock the console. I don't understand what does lock the console in this sense mean. Lock the console. Does that mean we just need to cancel it? What does it mean? Rely on replacing service binary stored in program file using the same privilege. So I know that's usually utilman will get involved when we try, for example, to log in and you need like utility to read or magnifier glass or something like that. So we need to invoke this. So in order to invoke this, most likely what we need to do is to have RDP connection or something like that. So probably that's what we do. Let's follow these steps, okay? So we already have that shell. We already have these enabled. So we just need to rename the utilman.exe into utilman.old. So let's go back to the shell here. That's what we have. So basically, I just need to go and rename it cd cd cd. I don't know. I could say cd. Was it system32? System32. Windows. Come on.
Case sensitive, I think.
No, it is.
Oh,
It is.
okay.
It is. But I mistyped it. Then CD, I think System32. That's where Windows keep all of these kind of lovely stuff. Okay, that's not really useful. We will search for it. LS. Was it util? What was it called? Utilman or something like that.
Maybe just
Util, utilman.
utilman.exe. Yes.
Utilman.exe. Okay, it exists. So rename it. I think it was called in Windows it is rename, but also I think in PowerShell there is ren. Let's try it. Utilman.exe to utilman.old, right? Happy with this? It doesn't exist. That's good news. This one exists. So what did they ask us to do next? After we rename cmd.exe to utilman.exe. So rename cmd.exe to this. Good. So now if I ls utilman.exe, I should be able to see it. That's good. That's good. So what I will do now, I will try to have like a remote access using SVC. So our remote, our desktop, I think the IP address followed by dash, let's say 192.168. What was the IP address? 168.186, right? 192.186.165. 186.165. Do you trust this? I will say, yes, I trust this. And then they said, what I need to do here is, where is that window? Here. They said, press when you. So if I go here, I press window U. And I get system. You see?
Nice. Yeah.
Good. Does that make sense?
Yep. Does.
Administrator. Yes, we are inside the administrators. Good. So this is Heist. Let me stop recording, then we can have a quick chat about it. Then